coming here, and I think you will field some questions which I will very happily answer. So should we move to there?
So the collected questions from many industries and Chamber of Commerce and founder people, Vendors Association. Almost there are representatives from all their associations. First, I would like to give the question to a woman entrepreneur. She is Kritika, Vice President, Coimbatore Companies Association. Kritika. Sir, L3.
Very few women though.
Coimbatore Compressors Association.
Warm welcome to Rahulji. Welcome to Coimbatore. On behalf of all small micro industries, I have many more questions to you, but I'll limit it to one or two major issues. One is faulty implementation of GST, due to which we are all suffering, and another one is economy and growth, which is hardly hit. And what are your plans to revive? Like they say, only a king is responsible for the economy and growth of a nation. So you are an aspiring king, and you must be able to address this. Please answer this. Thank you.
What is your sense? Obviously, you feel that the GST has been very damaging to small and medium industries.
Yes, it was hurriedly implemented tax reform today, but it is completely eroding the micro industries and the slow way to death. If we are unable to survive, then the government should provide us some social security.
I saw the entire GST drama unfolding. And I saw it when we were in government, and then I saw it when Mr. Narendra Modi came into government. First question to ask is, who are the biggest supporters of GST? Every legislation has supporters behind it. So the first thing to understand is that the biggest supporters of GST were large businesses. This is something that has to be understood. And there's a reason for it. GST as it is currently designed is designed to help them and harm you. It's a simple thing. And it is not only a question of bad implementation. It is strategically done to do this. It is done to weaken small and medium industries. Now, what is the difference between the GST that we had conceptualized and the GST that eventually came? The GST that we had conceptualized was very simple. One tax, minimum tax. And what we were finding when we were trying to move forward on GST was that the negotiation was very complicated. And so our view was, go through with the negotiation, no matter how painful it is, and reach the point of one tax, minimum tax. When Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, he decided to bypass the bulk of the negotiation. And he superimposed this GST. He didn't do the homework to get one tax, minimum tax. And the result you have now is 5 taxes, massive amount of taxes, and huge complications. I've been saying it again and again that the GST
Kritika for your presentation. The next question is from Sri Rama Balakrishnan, Vice President, Indian Chamber of Commerce. L1.
You can't hear me? Okay, you better.
Well, we are very happy that you are taking your time and come here. I can introduce Coimbatore is a self-made city. The city has grown without any government intervention or government help. So entrepreneurs have grown the city. The recent pandemic in the last 1 year has affected a lot of industries, especially the small and medium industries. So what should we do or what should we learn from this pandemic and how do we mitigate the effects of this pandemic? Thank you.
I think the problems were clear before the pandemic. Problems arose because of a wrong view of the economy. Sense that you need harmony for economic growth. You cannot have disharmony and then have economic growth. So that's the central thing. And the current government has created huge amount of disharmony across the board. Second thing is massive crippling blow delivered to the economy was demonetization, which Manmohan Singh ji said clearly is going to cost us 2% of GDP, but devastated small and medium industries because you're dependent on cash flow, it remove your cash flow. And then after that, we got a pandemic. And in February, if you recall, I was saying again and again that the government needs to act on this upfront. It cannot delay, that this is going to be a catastrophic problem for the Indian economy, and I was ignored. In fact, most of the government people ridiculed me saying that, he's fear-mongering. So the impact of the pandemic also hit. Finally, after the pandemic, we were saying that you need to put in structures that will protect small and medium industry. The government offered loan waivers to the biggest industrialists. Thousands and thousands and thousands, lakhs of crores were given to them. But the protection that you were owed was not here. So I think we are in a very bad situation now. Also, we have this NPA problem that 15, 20 large businesses have access to the banking system. They owe lakhs of crores of rupees and those are non-performing. So without unblocking the banking system and without giving you protection and without giving you the type of incentives to create jobs, I don't think we're going to move forward. And my sense is that it is going to be very difficult for the BJP with the mindset that they have to extract us out of this dynamic. That's my sense.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Feroz J. Dak, Missionary Association, Davudi Brothers. Feroz Dak.
Good morning, Raoji. Welcome to Coimbatore.
Good morning. Thank you.
All schemes are being announced in a big way, but nothing is being implemented in a proper way. It is not done in a very harsh way. Now the latest is about the farmers issue also. And my another question was again about the GST. I have explained it, but I must mention, we small industries, people are really affected by GST. Does the Congress government do a shelter or anything that the GST slab, which is at a very high stage, will it come down? I feel this was pretty well. Thank you.
We have made a commitment, and I have made it many times. Ex-Prime Minister has made it, others have made it, Amrapji has made it, that we not agree with this GST at all. We do not believe, first of all, GST cannot have 5 slabs. The idea of GST is 1 slab. So people like to call this thing a GST. Is not a GST. This is something else. So we commit 100% that we will go and deliver 1 slab and minimum tax GST. That is a commitment that we have made and we will stick by. See, in order to get there, you have to be able to have conversations. You have to be able to listen to people. You have to be able to work with people and negotiate with people. The problem is that the current dispensation in Delhi does not believe in negotiation. They do not believe in listening. They do not believe in conversation. So it is practically impossible for them to come up with a solution to this problem. The solution to this problem lies with the people of India, lies with the business people, lies with small and medium businesses. We have to have a conversation with you and we have to carry all the steps to deliver that. It is not going to be done just by forcing it on the people of India. When it comes to announcements of big schemes, look, the bottom line is very simple. The Indian banking system is not working. The Indian banking system has been captured by 10-15 industries. And the Indian banking system is not accessible to large numbers of Indian business people. It is certainly not accessible to you. The Indian banking system has nothing to do with you. It has only got to do with the biggest players in the country. Until this discrepancy is changed, you will only have announcements and you will have a lot of drama going on the television. You will get no results. The fact of the matter is that India as a country is unable to provide jobs to its people. Our economy has been devastated. What used to be successful has become a disaster. And we are not going to get out of this anytime soon. Because the government simply is not interested in listening to what the large numbers of people who help this country move forward have to say.
Thank you, Ramaji. Wish you all the best.
That's what I'm saying.
The government, Congress government plans, the GST stamp system will be a single point of view.
Not only a single point of view, it will be a single point of view with the minimum possible tax. And I will show you that it can be done. It is not difficult to do. It can be done. But it will require negotiation, it will require conversation, which the Congress party knows how to do.
The entire India will be happy with this announcement.
Next question is from Abhimanyu.
I was in this discussion.
I come from workplace of Kamaraj. We are a handmade industry which employs 1.5 lakh people directly and 4 lakh people indirectly. The fibers industry currently has a lot of issues that are not allowing us to function. Our only request is when you do all the southern districts, please do give us an opportunity to be heard and seen. We request you to come and have a look at our industry. With a bit of green crackers as per Supreme Court initiative, a lot of development has taken place. There is no harm to the environment or to the human who are using the fibers. But as of now, there's a lot of conversations going on and they are able to even function. So our request is we come here to invite you, Mr. Sassi, to come have a look at it directly. When you came, it's all dedicated to having this. That's all.
What are your two biggest problems?
So the major problem is for the advent of the green cracker that has been asked, pollution should have come down. But even now, it has not been implemented in many states. A lot of states have an apprehension that fibers are still causing problems. So the sale of fibers has been banned in 5 states as of now. This has brought the industry to a tipping point. And they are all very small factories with a turnover of 1.4 crore rupees. So So there's no money location, there's no orders. So unless all the governments come forward and agree that flyovers can be used across the country, we must wait. So as advanced countries like the US and UK have now amended their constitutions to allow flyovers to be part of the celebrations. And those days on which celebrations are allowed, flyovers can be used without any restrictions. So that is our request.
And I definitely come and see you.
Please do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, the next question is, name is not there. In the last 2 years, there has been massive people's protests happening all over. Why is that? Do you think it's excessive? It's not
The massive protest that is happening, whether it is the farmers' protest or it is protest in other parts of the country, is because there is an attempt to impose one idea, one ideology of this country. And there is an attempt to force this country to do what it does not want. There is a capture of the institutions, and we are heading in a dictatorial direction. Instead of having conversations about how we are going to solve our problems, the government feels that they can impose ideas of the people of India. And they will soon find out that that is not possible. You can see that the farmers are not listening. You can see that the people of Tamil Nadu have questions about the way the Prime Minister is running this country. People in the Northeast have questions. People in different states are having questions about this centralization of power. And the only way forward is to go back to a democratic, open-minded conversation. If you talk to Indian people, you work with Indian people, you will never have any problems. You will always have harmony. If you try to force something on the Indian people, you try to force something on the Tamil people, they will react. There will be protests across the country. So it is a style of governance. Nothing will be achieved by forcing ideas onto the people of this country. And you can see, Prime Minister came, huge announcements. What has happened? What has happened to the economy? What has happened to the level of violence in the country? What has happened to the harmony in the country? What has happened to the number of jobs that were created? It has all been destroyed. And it will continue to be destroyed until the government in Delhi realizes that you can only talk to the people of India with respect, and you can only talk to the people of India with kindness. And if you talk with kindness and respect, the people of India will respond with kindness and love and affection. Thank you, Raghuji. Next question will be from Kumar from Tirupur Garments Exporter. Kumar, Tirupur Garment Exporter.
Thank you for being here and listening to our issues. I'm from Tirupur, I'm a garment exporter. In the advent of demonetization and the implementation of the GST, we face a lot of troubles and we are slowly recovering from it. The problem I want to emphasize here is MSMEs are the backbone of Indian economy. Next to agriculture, it is the biggest employment provider. But MSMEs are now slowly perishing. That is now happening in the country. Why? Because there are a lot of issues. As a businessman, I want to come and see the business activities. I want to see the development of my business. I want to go to the next level. But the problem is, I don't have enough time to address the compliance factor which is being imposed day by day. This is the first point. The second point is
Reducing complex structure.
compliance, the GST or whatever the new compliances are coming again and again. And next is the effects of Basel III norms in the banking sector. See, mostly MSMEs are unorganized sector and Basel III norms are too high for us. We cannot able to observe the Basel III norms and it is now monthly rating, which is affecting our business and getting in bank loan is now an uphill task. The third is from the Congress budget, when Anand Sharma was our Finance Minister, your negotiation has started with Europe and US was the free trade agreement. Until now, it is not happening. As a garment exporter, we are now going to, I am not going to compete with my nearest factory. I am competing with a factory in Bangladesh, a factory in Sri Lanka, a factory in Thailand, a factory in China. So when the factories from Bangladesh, Pakistan and Sri Lanka are coming for a negotiation, without even seeing the garment, they are 10% less than us because they have the FTA. So we have to be very 10% competitive on that ground. On this, what is your take on FTA, on residency norms, and what are you going to do for the revival of the sector? Thank you.
Again, the Indian system, as you said, is becoming more and more complex, and it is becoming more and more difficult for small and medium industry to operate. And it is becoming easier and easier for bigger players to operate. The entire focus of government policy, of the banking system, even of the media, is on the largest players. The focus of the government is not on the small and medium players, but the future. Big players will have to come from small and medium industry. So if you are not going to concentrate on small and medium industry, you will, in the future, you will not get any big players. Because it is these small and medium industries that will become successful and become large. So the first thing I would advocate is government focus, banking system focus, and hand-holding of small and medium players. Mindset that the success of India depends on the small and medium industry, that employment in India depends on small and medium industry. The mindset change. You see pictures of the Prime Minister with the largest industrialists. Have you seen pictures of the Prime Minister with small and medium industry? Have you ever seen? I have never seen. So conversations like this, where political people come and say, what do you need? If I go to Sivakasa, I see the requirements, I hear what are the roadblocks, then I can help unlock some of those roadblocks. So the biggest challenge is in the mind of the political leadership. That small and medium businesses are not relevant, big businesses are relevant. That mindset change has to take place. In my mind, the future of India and any competition that we want to do with China, any competition we want to do with Bangladesh, any competition we want to do with these people, it is going to happen through the small and medium industry. It's not going to happen with big businesses. Bangladesh is not competing with the big business in India. Bangladesh is competing with you. China is competing with you. The Chinese government, Bangladeshi government is doing everything to protect their small and medium business and transform them into big businesses. We are doing everything in our government to destroy our small and medium business. Then our government is make in India compete with the Chinese. It is not possible. So the first thing is mindset change. You are our assets. We have to invest in you and we have to grow this asset. Simple minded. Second thing is simplifying the compliance. Simplifying the GST, as I said. And not when you shock, like demonetization suddenly destroying your cash flow, burning your cash flow. So I am advocating a different way of working with small and medium business. What are some of the biggest government leaders should be open to small and medium business? You should be able to come straight into the office of the finance minister and say, this is what we need. That is what I am advocating. same five fellows are there. You talk about defense, the same five fellows are there. Now you talk about agriculture, the same five fellows are there. So it is always there, always hard to entire conversation about the economics is between 15 people. The banks are working for them. All the industries are belonging to them. And the large numbers of people who are actually doing the work, we are not helping building them. And that is what I think we should do. Yes, you can say that's not us. I mean, maybe there are more than 5, maybe there are 10. But probably yes.
Can we like to remember our one thing? That is, your father, Mr. Devendra Rajiv Gandhi, was the main reason for developing telecommunications in India. Now, do you have any new and advanced plan for developing industrial sector in our country?
See, Rajiv Gandhi ji only developed telecoms and computers because he had a broader vision for it. Without a broader vision, he would not have been able to develop computers and telecoms. So the first thing you have to understand is what is India's role in the world? What is India's strength? And what are India's capabilities? If you view yourself as equal to the most powerful people or most powerful countries in the world, they will respect you in that same way. If you view yourself as number 3 or number 4 or number 5, you will be treated as number 3 or number 4 or number 5. So currently, I am of the view that there are the Chinese, there are the Americans, and there is India. And in my view, we are equal to those other two people. We are not junior partner of anyone. What is our strength? Our strength is dynamic population, young population. Our strength is that we have what is gold in the 21st century. Gold in the 21st century is data. That is gold. And today what is India doing? Today India is taking all its gold and giving it away for free. We have no strategy on data. So the first thing I would say is India as a country needs to develop a clear-cut strategy on how it is going to use its single biggest asset, which is data. Healthcare data, transaction data. All the biggest companies in the world, whether it is Google, it is Amazon, these are all creatures of data. Without data, these companies cannot survive. So, the first thing I would say is, India needs to be clear about what is going to be its strategy with regards to its strategy, with regards to its biggest asset, data. And then once you think about that, you will get many, many different solutions. You will get a transformation in the healthcare industry. You'll get a transformation in the defense industry. You'll get a transformation in numbers of industries. But today, even thinking about data, the idea of Aadhaar that we promoted in UP was not about surveillance, which is how it is being used today. It was not about tracking people. It was about having a strategy for data, developing understand our single biggest asset, that is people.
Thank you, Rahul. The next will be K. Vijay Kumar. Welcome to Vijay Kumar. And welcome to the session.
Welcome to my city. Regarding the farmers issue, recently the Supreme Court stated and was following the government. We are doing not on the government for tax. Directly or indirectly, we are okay. What will be your next move for one tax completely or not?
So we have made it very clear that we are against these three bills and we fully stand with the farmers in removing these three bills. So that's the Congress Party and the UPA position. These farm laws, they are going to cripple agriculture in India. We were for a reform of the agriculture system. We believe in reforming the agriculture system. But we do not agree in the destruction of the agriculture system. These three laws will destroy the agricultural system and will hand over the keys of the entire agricultural system to 3 or 4 large industries. So we are against them. So we are going to stand with the farmers and we are going to support them and make sure that these 3 farm laws are taken back.
Next will be from Sri
Welcome, Ramaji. I want to know what role does diversity play in the country economic growth?
What role does diversity play?
Economic growth.
So, what would happen if somebody said in India that Tamil people will not be allowed to speak the Tamil language? What would happen to economic growth in India? It would cease to exist. What would happen if you went to Manipur and said, we are not going to allow you to follow your customs? Manipuri people would react. Economic growth would collapse. The foundation of economic growth in India is diversity. Without diversity in India, you cannot have an economy. In fact, without diversity in India, you will not have India. India itself is the idea of diversity. The notion that the Prime Minister has that you can reduce diversity and grow faster is ignorance. It is nothing else. It is a lack of understanding. It is also a lack of respect. See, when I come to Tamil Nadu, I view your culture, your language, your traditions as an asset. I don't view it as a liability. I view a different way of looking at a problem, an asset. Maybe I can go and ask the Tamil people, I've got a problem in New Delhi. Maybe I can ask the Tamil people how to solve this problem. They will give me a unique answer. So I view it as an asset. The current dispensation views it as a liability. They think that power should be centralized. That one man should control everything. That one organization should control everything. I believe that if Tamil Nadu is India, then India is Tamil Nadu. I cannot say Tamil Nadu is India, but India is not Tamil Nadu. That is just wrong. If I accept that Tamil Nadu is India, then I got to accept India as Tamil Nadu. That means I got to embrace Tamil Nadu. I got to listen to the people of Tamil Nadu. I got to respect the language. Maybe I will try and learn the language also. One of them. Slowly. So, you cannot have an economy without diversity. And we should promote
grinders. Grinders.
minimum tax. And we will do everything in our power to deliver that to you.
All the industries will come under one slab.
GST will be one
GST.
tax.
Sir, GST வந்து எல்லா இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்குமே single point.
See,
5%, 5%.
please, one thing. GST is called goods and service tax. It is not called goods and service taxes.
It's not plural.
You understand?
It's singular.
This is, India is the only country where they have made goods and service taxes. This is wrong. It should be goods and service tax. It should be one tax.
வரிகள் இல்ல வரி மட்டும்தான். Thank you. The next is from Ilango, Sky Eye Builders.
I think the gentleman has a question. You do that one first then.
Arun. Rahul ji, vanakkam. My question is regarding petrol and diesel prices.
Question is?
Prices of petrol and diesel.
Prices, yeah.
Whereas now in India, tax has gone up to 69%. And the international market, crude oil price is only $52 per barrel. So, what logic behind it?
No logic. Illogical. Logic is government and certain people have to make money. So it doesn't matter whether the price of petrol goes down. The price of petrol in India is always going to go up. That is the current mindset. And it is extremely destructive because it impacts business. It harms your business. But it is illogical.
How it will come under control?
Sorry?
How it will come under control? Means
It'll only come
how
under
it will be
control-
minimized?
It will only come under control when a new government comes in Delhi. Before that is now coming in control.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. The next will be from Thanga Krishnan, KTEX Automations.
Good afternoon, Rahul ji. What is the strategy to Indian MSME to become like a Chinese engineering industries? You already told we cannot compete with that. Then what will be the strategy to become like?
No, I said that you cannot compete with the Chinese using large businesses. But I am fully convinced that we can compete with the Chinese using small and medium businesses. I have no doubt in my mind. If India truly empowers small and medium businesses, we can compete with the Chinese. How do we do it? By making sure that small and medium businesses have access to finance. By making sure that we see small and medium businesses as strategic. That we protect small and medium businesses and we help small and medium businesses to transition into big businesses. So, I am one of the people who thinks that we can compete with the Chinese. And the people who are going to compete are you people. But the government has to untie your hands. We cannot tie your hands with GST and demonetization and then tell you now you go and compete with the Chinese. So, I think definitely small and medium businesses can compete with the Chinese. And we should be doing everything to make them do that.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The next will be food grains question. Sai. It's here. L1.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm from Tamil Nadu Food Grain Merchants Association, a member of 5,000 members across Tamil Nadu. Actually, we have many problems in this food industry in regard of Goods and Service Tax Act. When VAT was there in Tamil Nadu, more than 589 products were exempted. After the rollout of this new tax regime, GST, everything has come into that tax structures. Say if it is going to be many food essential commodities like rice, wheat, pulses, grains and flours of the cereals are all suffering tax when it is branded, and unregistered brand it goes under 0%. So it is nil rated. If it is branded, then it suffers 5%. So without brand, how could a customer will know that and how it could be marketed? And for this, registration and unregistration, the disparity arises on the product and not on the other commodity. One single commodity, but the disparity of taxes. If it is branded, it is 5%. If it is unbranded, it is 0%. So he was talking about on goods and service taxes, and I'm talking about on single commodity, the tax structures differs. Simultaneously, if it is going to be marketed on unregistered brand, we are supposed to file an affidavit stating that we are going to forgo our brand and not going to have any challenges on the own brand. So these are the toughest time which we are facing on developing our brand. And people are saying that give vocal for local and make in India and other things. But still, this brand commodities are not able to get promoted.
But I find that pretty
Likewise,
much everybody in this room is against the current GST formulation. Would that be fair? Everybody is against it.
I'll put the question in.
Yeah.
I'll put the question in. Please.
likewise,
எல்லாத்துக்குமே ஜிஎஸ்டி எதிர்பார்த்தானே இருக்கு. கரெக்டா? இல்ல யாராவது அக்ரி பண்றோமா? Everyone is against.
Nobody is.
Nobody is there for it.
So you can imagine that it cannot be correct. If the entire small and medium industry is against it, it cannot be a correct thing.
The next one will be from J. James, TACT.
sir, I would like to add on with the Food Safety Standards Act, which has not
James.
been covered.
Once we
L3.
done, I'll come and talk to you.
L3.
Yes, sir. And we have a detailed representation for you, sir. Thank you.
James.
ஹலோ ராகுல்ஜி, உங்களை கோவை தொழிலமைப்பின் சார்பிலே நாங்கள் மனதார வரவேற்கிறோம். எங்களுடைய வருகை எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் மகிழ்ச்சி அளிக்கிறது. எல்லோரும் நாங்களாம் மைக்ரோ இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ், குறுந்தொழில் முனைவோர்கள் என்று அழைக்கக்கூடிய மைக்ரோ என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ். நாங்கள் எங்களுடைய குரல் எப்பயுமே ஒரு வட்டத்துக்குள் அடங்குறது போல், தமிழ் தெரிஞ்சதுனால இங்கிலீஷ் தெரியாதனால எங்களுடைய குரல் எங்கள் கோயம்புத்தூர் விட்டு வெளியே வர மாட்டேங்குது. அது எங்களுடைய பொசிஷன். அதனால இப்போ என்ன கேட்டீங்கன்னா, இப்போ எம்எஸ்எம்இ என்று செட்டார் கவர்மெண்ட்ஸ் நீங்க அலௌன்ஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கிறாங்க. எம்எஸ்எம்இல என்ன மேக்சிமம் ப்ராப்ளம், மைக்ரோ ப்ராப்ளத்தை எப்பவுமே அது வெளியே வர மாட்டேங்குது. பொதுவாக கவர்மெண்ட் அலௌன்ஸ்மெண்ட் டோட்டலி எம்எஸ்எம்இ, பட் மைக்ரோக்கு எந்த சொல்யூஷனும் கிடைக்கல. லாஸ்ட் கோவிட்-19 ப்ராப்ளம், கவர்மெண்ட் அலௌன்ஸ்மெண்ட் உங்களுக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா லோன் அலௌன்ஸ்மெண்ட் 20% ஏற்கனவே லோன் வாங்கினவங்களுக்கு, அதில் மைக்ரோஸ்க்கு லோனே கிடைக்கல. பட் அதை பற்றி எந்த ரியாக்ஷன்ஸும் எந்த பார்ட்டிட்டும் இல்லை. நான் என்ன கேட்குறேன்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா, இந்திய நாடு முழுவதும் இருக்கக்கூடிய அதிக வேலை வாய்ப்பு கொடுக்கக்கூடிய செக்டார் சொல்லக்கூடியது மைக்ரோ என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ். இந்த மைக்ரோ என்டர்பிரைஸ் டெவலப்மெண்ட்டுக்காக காங்கிரஸ்ல இருந்து நீங்க என்ன முன்வைக்க போறீங்க? எங்களுக்கு தனி செக்டாருக்கு என்ன நீங்க அலௌன்ஸ் பண்றதுக்காகவோ எங்களுக்கு சப்போர்ட் பண்ண போறீங்கிற ஒரு கொஸ்டின்ஸ் நாங்க உங்கள்கிட்ட வைக்கிறோம். அதே போல செகண்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ், ரா மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் இந்தியாவுடைய ஒரு முக்கியத்துவம் வாய்ந்த தொழில் எல்லாமே உலக நாடுகளில் போட்டி போடுறதா இருந்தாலும் சரி, இந்தியா நாட்டில் தொழில் நல்லபடி நடப்பது. ரா மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் ஒரு முக்கிய பொறுப்பு இருக்கு. அந்த ரா மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் பெரிய பங்கு வகிக்குது. பட் கோல்டுக்கு ஈக்குவல் இஸ் டே டு டே ரேட் இன்க்ரீஸ் டு ரா மெட்டீரியல்ஸ். கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது யாரு? நீங்க பார்லிமெண்ட்ஸ்ல சம்பந்தமா இந்த ரா மெட்டீரியல் பிரைஸ் கவர்மெண்ட் இப்படி அசால்ட்டா விட்டுட்டு இருக்காங்களே, தடுப்பதற்காக உங்கள் நடவடிக்கை என்ன என்ற 2 கொஸ்டின் நான் முதல்ல உங்களுக்கு வைக்கிறேன்.
கரெக்டா? How to control the raw material price? கரெக்டானா? ரா மெட்டீரியல் பிரைஸ் உங்களுக்கு கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணணும். அதான் உங்க கோரிக்கை. ஒண்ணு. அடுத்தது ஜிஎஸ்டினால இந்த பெனால்டி போட்டதை திருப்பி வாங்கணும்.
பெனால்டி
எடுக்கணும். அவ்வளவுதான். அதுல எம்எஸ்எம்இ செக்டாருக்கு அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ற எதுவுமே மைக்ரோ குரூப்புக்கு வரதில்லை. What about the government announces for the MSME people? These micro people are not getting the benefits. One. Then how to control raw material prices, increase raw material price in the present situation. The third one is their suggestion is need to remove penalty in GST due to COVID situation. 3 questions they have.
So, I mean, I would agree,
James.
I would agree with under COVID situation that we should have certain provisions that make GST more benign. And I can happily raise it in Parliament. And we can also tell the government and put pressure on the government for that. You want to tell him in Tamil? Oh, so now you're saying that under COVID situation, we would happily put pressure on the government and raise it in Parliament that we should make the GST more benign.
We have already raised the question.
No, we can do it.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Sir,
in Tamil.
Okay.
Because you don't understand.
Sir, I just want to substantiate what he said. We are very much plagued by the raw material prices. And I'll just read out one thing. JSW Steel reported a jump of over 1,300% in its consolidated net profit to 2,669 crore for the December 2020 quarter. So only the corporates are making money and we are left in the lurch. Nobody has addressed this issue. So many representations have gone from here to the government through various sources, but nobody has addressed this finally. And their own minister Nitin Gadkari has been writing letters to the Prime Minister. But so far, no action has been taken on it. That's what he was meaning.
I can also help you and try and raise it for you if you want. Tell him in Tamil.
Sir, அவர் உங்க கோரிக்கைகளை பார்லிமெண்ட்ல எடுத்து பேசுறேன்னு ஒரு அஷூரன்ஸ் கொடுக்கிறார்.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This will be the last question from Gokul Das, KG Group. It's L1.
Welcome, Rahulji. In spite of large number of educational institutions in Coimbatore and in the country, still lack of employability skills. How do you think we can change that?
Well, huge part of the reason we have currently an unemployment problem. So even if we have skilled people, we don't know where to put them. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to start the economy once again. And we need to start the economic engine, which is jammed, right? Our education system is not designed for business. Our education system is not practical. Our education system is theoretical. So there is no linkage between our education system and the business system and the industrial system. So we should link the education system to the industrial system, to the business system. Without that linkage, we will always be training people who will be useless for you. Do you have the ability to go to universities to advise universities on what small and medium businesses need from their employees? You don't. So that linkage is critical. Linkage between our education system and business system. You know, I was in a meeting, external affairs meeting about foreign relations. It is the same problem in foreign relations. If you look at our bureaucrats, they have no understanding of commercials. They have no understanding of business. They have an understanding of bureaucracy. But they do not understand what business requires. It is exactly the same with our education system. They do not have an understanding what the business people need. So we have to bring that into the education system.
Sir, one last and final question from Spinning Association. One sec.
Let him do it and then we'll come to you.
Sir, it's here from Spinning Association, Tripur.
Where?
Here it's.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rahulji.
Good afternoon.
See, I'm representing South India Spinners Association, but mainly on the spinning sector. See, we have the MSME category now. See, micro, small and medium. But after the new laws has come, divisions are like that. Micro is only to turn around 5 crores. For the small is 50 crores. And the medium has gone up to 250 crores. So when the government announces something, any scheme for MSME, micro is only 5 crores. They are not able to reach because the medium is 250. Big difference is there. So we encourage you to represent to the government to segregate micro and small in one category and medium in separate. Otherwise, the funds what we get from the government or bank allots, it goes to the medium sector totally. And regarding the power sector, less than one HT consumers, mostly MSME mills are in the HT consumers. We have to buy in IEX, we have to have more than 1 megawatt. So now we want to have to, irrespective of the HT consumers, can participate in the IEX. So it will be benefit for all the HT consumers for the power thing. Okay. And we want a cap for SM, not micro and small. That is our main request here.
Can you give it to me in writing? Yes, I have. You give it to me in writing and I'll also do something about it.
There is a big difference between micro and medium. And we want to control the raw material prices. Because as the cotton is the main consumers of spinning mills, it's controlled 40% by Cotton Corporation of India. The buying of the Indian cotton, it's about 40% the CCA buys. So every day the CCA increase the prices. So we want the CCA at least to maintain the prices for 15 days. 1 month is good, but at least they can maintain for 15 days now. Even the exporters are blaming the spinning mills. We are increasing price because the CCA is increasing the price on daily basis. Okay. So we need the control of the raw material because it's a government buying price. Already bought, which is bought only they are selling. They're not they're buying and selling. The CCA buys the cotton the season and sells in the daily basis. So we want to control the prices on monthly basis. Okay. So this is the thing. Thank you. Thank you.
So the next, you want to ask that?
Last question is from Raj Kumar. He has got a memorandum to submit. Arun. I'll put the number. Give the memorandum. That's enough.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Rahulji. Like you have come from Delhi, I have come from Chennai for you.
Thank you.
I am not a single person talking to you. I am representing consortium of Indian associations, which is over 350,000 industries. What are we witnessing? I have been a 3.5 decade entrepreneur. What are we witnessing today in this country? We moved from Skill India, Digital India, Make in India, Atmanirbhar, and finally ended where? Fund India. What is Fund India? FDI. We are opening, asking others to give money into us. Where are we? I am sick to see the entrepreneurs surviving. Out of 7 crore entrepreneurs, MSMEs, 30% are almost dead.
Yeah.
What is 30%? 2.1 crore. That 2.1 crore gives jobs for almost 20 crore of people. We are not bothered. The ECGLS scheme came for 45 lakhs beneficiary out of 7.5 crores. Where are we? We are seeing only the balance 60% and saying green shoots. I am seeing shooting myself as an entrepreneur. How are we progressing? What answer will I give to my children? Today, entrepreneur, you ask them, we are facing 3 M problems: money, manpower, material. Banks are chasing, NBFCs are chasing. We are not able to open a newspaper today. Every page has got only about auction sale notice, possession notice. Big people are getting shaved. We are being shaved. You are the only voice for us. Don't forget it. Micro industries, 98% in this country. 98% is the micro industries. Micro industries must have a separate ministry. We cannot be combined with 100 crore company turnover. I am talking micro as a self-employed people. We are losing them. Today the dream of a startup is shattered. Today we are seeing, we are not able to raise our voice. We are not able to express ourselves. We are not being heard. We are not being able to convey our pains. An entrepreneur can never ever cry openly. Remember that. If I cry openly, nobody will trust me. Nobody will give me business. No employee will stay with me. I don't hire people with just money. I hire people from my heart and love. I build this nation. I have built this nation for 35 years. Today I see wherever I go. I'm telling you, Mr. Rahul, I'm representing Consortium of Indian Association. People are painfully crying. Please raise it. Please speak for us. Thank you for coming to Coimbatore. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for coming here. It was an honor and a pleasure for me to talk to you. I am absolutely convinced that without strengthening small and medium industry, we are not going to be successful as a country. So I am committed to supporting you, working with you, and raising your issues. I know we are not in government right now, but please do feel free to come to me. I can raise things even if I'm in opposition, and I will help you whether I'm in opposition or in government. But I believe that you are central to this country and the success of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rahul ji.
பெரியோர்களே,
சார் நீங்க எல்லாம் இங்க வந்து இந்த மீட் அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணதுக்கும்
I'll tell them.